Calma. I am super excited to be part of the third annual Save the Crafty YouTuber video hop. It's run by Justine Hovey, and she is amazing and has put together this video hop full of super amazing crafters and all kinds of inspirational videos and a opportunity to win a prize on each one of the videos, including mine. And I'll have all the information in the video description below, and I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the video. But let's get into it first. I'm going to create a card today using the Concord and Ninth mixtape stamp set. And as a child of the 80s, this was a super exciting set for me to have that I have used for so many of my good friends from high school and college, because the mixtape was the ultimate sign of friendship and love and, offering somebody something that was made just for them. So anyway, I decided to use this stamp set, and I'm going to use my MISTI here to stamp out the main part of the cassette. And the stamp set is divided into a couple different layers, and I'm going to use most of all of those. So I'm going to use a piece of Neenah 110-pound cardstock, and I'm going to stamp out the cassette outline in black Nuvo hybrid ink. It's a great hybrid ink, and it's good for using for Copics and everything on, but it's also just good. It's a good thick black ink. And what's great about this stamp set, it's kind of sketchy looking, and it's just perfect for the whole theme of this and the idea of it to me. So I used, the next color I used for the inside color of the actual cassette part is Hero Shadow Ink, and it's the wet cement. It's the mid-tone shadow ink, and I thought this would be a good ink because it kind of looks like a lot of the cassettes, if anybody is around my age and knows what cassettes used to look like. There were a lot of them that were kind of a creamy ivory color, so that kind of reminded me a little bit about this. The stamp set has a couple really cool pieces that come out like they're the inside roll of the actual audio tape that has unspooled, and one makes this heart like I'm stamping, and one says hello. And I've done lots of the hellos, but I've never done one with the heart. So this is going to be a card for my husband because we just had an anniversary, and unfortunately I can make cards for everyone else in my life except for the people that really deserve them. So I'm going to give him a late anniversary card. These are the little pieces of the stamp set that are made to kind of be the stripes for this, which were all like stickers that you used to put on the that came with like a blank cassette tape, and you used them to put on there. So I kind of picked colors that I knew I was going to use for the shaker part. I forgot to say I was going to do the shaker part to this card too. So the two colors of ink that I used for that are Nuvo hybrid inks as well. It's this Polar Ice color and the Spring Heather, and both of these are in a set of 3 that comes in a little trio of those. They're the mini ink pads. And I thought they were cute, but not too feminine. And it's still a lovey card, and it's got a heart on it. So the stamp set has lots of neat, like a thank you mix or birthday mix, friend mix, but I went with this stamp piece that says "You Rock My World," and it's supposed to be like one of those old-fashioned kind of label makers that you clicked around and found and I think We Are Memory Keepers has a new version of that, which I'd love to see. But anyway, so I used that at the top of it, and then I used this at the bottom that says All the Feels. Now I don't have the coordinating dies for this because it's pretty simple, and I figured I would just save some money for another stamp set and fussy cut this one out. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to fussy cut out the cassette piece here that I've stamped all together, and then I'm going to fussy cut out the heart and mount both of those onto a piece of gray. It's not Dove Gray. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have it linked below. It's by Bazzill, and it's a really nice warm gray color of cardstock, and that's going to be the background. So What I'm going to do first, though, is to cut out the inside of this heart piece, sort of with a little bit of a white border, with my Tim Holtz retractable knife, craft knife, which is really handy. And that's going to be the shaker bit. So I'm going to cut that out, and then I'll mount that underneath the cassette like it's unraveled from the roll of tape. And you'll see how I create that into the shaker part. The stamp set has some other really cute things, like you could do the titles for different songs, and it has like an A and a B side and super fun stuff like that. I did not do that because I was trying to keep it a little simple-ish. I did decide it needed something on the back because this is a 5x7 card. So I grabbed this stencil set from the Crafter's Workshop, and it is called, I believe it is called Sing Unto, and it's kind of I think it's a 6x9. It's kind of a funky size stencil, and it has these large sort of mixed musical notes. And there's a really cool stencil that is smaller musical notes in a staff and all arranged much more linear. But I thought this was nice because the size of it, I think, went a little better with it. And I just used my life-changing brush with that same Nuvo hybrid ink. So I glued the cassette on there, and then I am going to add the heart. So I'm going to use, I believe I used the medium size Nuvo glued pen. And once I get that cut, then I'm going to have to, once I get that glued down, I'm going to cut out that heart again from this outside piece, which will be the shaker part. I drew a little outline around it just in case I got off, which I really didn't need to in the end. This is a very sharp knife, and I love that it's retractable because I am very accident prone, but it did, it's also really cool because it's the perfect, you know, it's like the pen size, it's like the craft pick size, and it's a great size to be able to use for this. So I'm just cleaning up the inside little bits of those there, and then I'm going to try to go ahead and start popping it up onto some foam tape and create the shaker portion, so I'll have enough room to shake. I think it would have been a really cool title if there was something like, you know, Shake, Rattle, and Roll or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to use a piece of acetate and glue behind that after I get 2 layers of foam tape on to the back of this card. I have been using a lot of fun foam, and I like to use it because it's cheaper and because it's I like to have that sort of solid background, but because I didn't have a die for this, I thought that the foam tape would be better and would be easier for me to control. So I'm going to not be shy with this. I'm going to put it around the edges and then add the second layer on top of that. And then I'll add some just tiny pieces around the heart itself. So you see I've got that lined up. I'm going to cut a little piece of this acetate here for just the inside part of that heart and glue it down using some Deluxe adhesive from Nuvo. And once I get that glued down, and I'm trying to be very careful not to get too close to the edge so I don't have any glue that splooshes over onto the acetate, which is something I usually do. I'm going to cut a couple pieces and try to get that all together. One of the tricks that I've learned just from doing this enough is that a great thing to do before you put in your sequins or beads or whatever your shaker bits are is to use an embossing powder bag or embossing powder tool if you have it, to take a little bit of the sticky off from the sides of that tape or whatever it is you use to create this shaker bit, because the sequin bits or whatever will inevitably cling to that, and since this was like double layer of foam, I didn't want that to happen. So I did use some of that embossing powder, and it just keeps it from sticking too much to the side. I could have probably used my fingers and dabbed it up a bit, but I try not to get too much of my hands onto the acetate because it attracts a lot of, you know, static. All right, so I've got another piece of this is just 80-pound cardstock that I have, and I'm going to use those same colors and do a little bit of ink blending on the back of a scratch piece of card to put behind that heart, and that's just to give it a little bit of color that you'll see behind the sequins. You really can't see much of this at all because the sequins are so packed in there, and you know, when you shake them around, there's not really much of it, but just in case, I just added that little bit of color there. So once I get, there's the embossing powder, and once I get all of that ready to go, I'm going to fill up the shaker bit. I'm going to use a collection of sequins that I have. I'm going to use some of this Nuvo, it's the silver tinsel sequins, and they're a nice kind of matte silver, and they were part of the a Christmas sort of set of 4. And then I'm going to use pieces, other sequins that are different sizes from a big collection that I have. I don't know if I don't think that any of them are actually a specific brand of these. I think they came in a big sort of collection from Amazon. I have some that are, you know, specific brands, but they're usually in a different area. So, all right, so I'm going to add some Deluxe adhesive on the back of this, and then use that whole piece that is now peeled off the adhesive and pop that onto a 5x7 card base that I had already cut, and it's a top folding card. So now, just to finish it off, I'm going to add some Nuvo drops in the jewel drop in Pale Periwinkle and the silver in Silver Lining, and that is it. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm excited to see everybody's comments. To win the prize, you do have to comment on my video here. I would love for you to be a subscriber too, but that is not a requirement. And the next person on the video hop will be listed below for you to link to and move on to that. There's lots of prizes. Mine is a $25 gift card to scrapbook.com. So I hope you have a great hop, and appreciate you stopping by, and have a wonderful day. Bye.